It's a colorful foresight where we intuitively connect from within. And it's woo woo time where we connect our woo woo into our mundane living. Hi, this is Sylvia of Colorful Foresight, and here we have Nancy of Crone Intuition. How are you?
Oh, doing great, Sylvia. Thank you.
Thank you. I've been wanting to connect with Nancy for a while, but it's been such an interesting time for me. But finally, all that drama cleared out, and I'm here fresh. So, speaking of our title today, Spirit Guides and Angels, um, what I feel like my relationship with angel and guide changes each decade. You know, so like if you ask me what my relationship was like with them when I first started, it would be a lot different than now. Like I feel like, hi Dina, I feel like I don't really know who my spirit guide. I always have my angel. That for sure I know who it's like Archangel Michael and the Legion of the Angel. But like spirit guide, who are my spirit guide? So I always tell my Archangel Michael, please, you're in charge of that. You're in charge of that. So I don't worry about that. It could be an alien, it could be an ancestor, it could be, so many different things. Guides and spirit guide come in so many different forms. Now it's funny, interesting enough, I asked a question to Nancy behind this scene. I was like, do you use spirit guides as a tool or an angel? Which is, I thought it odd that I asked that. Because when I think of a tool, I think of like an oracle card, crystals. There's so many different ways. And we were thinking, you were like, I don't know, I never thought of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a tool, I get. It to me, the bond is the connection,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's definitely a connection. We have a connection.
Yeah,
I had
because
just never thought of it as a tool before. It's
yeah,
interesting that you
I'm
said that.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm asking my guides if that's even correct.
Mm-hmm.
And right now they're telling me it's like a tool is just another way of connecting to something. So I get the spirit guide could be connecting to myself, to another, even something, the source, to something greater than. But even then, even though I said this, I would not really consider them as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
I would consider them as like a protector, a friend, something like that. But I figured since I brought that question up, let's see. So
Mm-hmm.
Dina said, Archangel Michael is like the principal of a high school. Guides or the teachers would change each grade level. I was just sharing that with Nancy. I said, each decade my relationship with my guides changes.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know who my spirit guides are. I just give it to Archangel Michael because they show up differently every day.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Nancy?
Well, I always have Archangel Michael uh, close to me, and my spirit guides. I have been trying to have a closer relationship with them, and I have been learning more about them. Some have come forward. One of them is a relative of mine who passed when I was a little girl, and I told Sylvia that I had been working with Prionite, and I was meditating with this stone, and she came forward, and I mean, it was so unexpected. And she said, I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you. And I just can't tell you what that meant to me, because she was my cousin, and she passed when she was 14 and I was 13. She had a cerebral hemorrhage, and it was very unexpected, but her work here was done, and she went on, and now she is my spirit guide, and it's taken me this long to connect with her.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. It just means the world to me, you know. But I wouldn't have discovered it if I hadn't been meditating and trying to draw closer to my guides. I have another guide who, you know, came forward. His name is Samuel, and he has been with me my whole life. And I think maybe some of our spirit guides are ancestors, not necessarily ancestors that we know about. They're ancestors way far behind, you know, from just millennium before, you know, and that we're a product of their life, you
Yeah,
know.
I mean, apparently we have many past lives. So, which
Yes, yes,
ancestors are we talking about? You know?
that's right. That's right.
Uh yeah, yeah. It's funny, cause now, like I told you, I kind of gave to Archangel Michael take charge because you always want to create boundaries. Don't just want to let anybody in, right? So I give it to Archangel Michael, and I'm at that point where out of this light, it's different forms all the time. I know in the past I had my grandmother, but I don't see her so much now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just interesting how it changes and evolves. But everybody has spirit guide and angel, whether you're good or otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, I don't have spirit guide, that's not true. So this is very important because you don't have to be metaphysical. You don't have to be anything. This
Mm-hmm.
is just something everybody has. Um, it's just like what Nancy said, which is really interesting. I really haven't thought of to take my time to go, who is my spirit guide? Like lately, like that was something I was more into maybe 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also have the thing I call the Great Compassion Light, which is all the divine being within that light. And they might help me that or anybody in ways we don't know. It doesn't always have to be like they're my spirit guide long time. It just comes maybe for the day or for the role and things like that. So that's what this great compassionate light is about.
Mm-hmm.
And actually very important that we connect with our spirit guide and angel anytime, but especially this time because in the world of AI and things like that, you have to be very in tune and listen to your relationship with spirit guide versus like some other noise. Like you got
Mm-hmm.
to know the difference. So to me, I feel it's even more important to tap into intuition from within. What do you feel?
Well, my reason for drawing closer to my angels and my spirit guides are my spiritual path and raising my vibration and being the person and doing what I am here to do. And to me, it is a change in spirituality that this type of spirituality that I have not experienced before in previous lives. And I feel that this life is the life that where I am getting further ahead on this spiritual walk that I am striving to attain. I guess that's the best way to explain it.
Yeah, and I feel like a bond with our divine, whoever that is,
Mm-hmm.
really beautiful. That's why I feel Archangel Michael's more relatable. And this is a funny story. My sister worked in the office environment, and she had this one coworker that was really irritating everybody. So I said to my sister, "Why don't you put a picture of Archangel Michael, like even a little one, by the wall next to your desk?" So she does that, and guess what? He's suddenly not working there.
Oh.
So, I saw the power to that. I'm like, it's nice to see and the validation of a protector, somebody who protects
Mm-hmm.
you. And I know in other culture they do have a different form, a form of Archangel Michael. They might call it Kalki, like in the Hindu culture they call it Kalki.
Mm-hmm.
Different cultures across the board have similar kind of,
Mm-hmm.
some that man or woman with the sword that's protecting.
Mm-hmm.
So Dina was saying, like, Dina, who's in the comment, she's like,
Mm-hmm.
she needs to connect with this Native American guy, but she's not even sure that he's still around. Probably is. And I said he might still be around, or he moved on, because if you once you reach to a different level, you get different guides. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
to be an expert or anything, but I do notice as I change each decade, my guides shift. And some of them I
Mm-hmm.
don't even know who they are. So I just have trust in them, because uh I have this thing, like I told you, great compassionate light. Some people call it God or whatever. Also the Archangel Michael thing. And I can easily connect with spirit if I wanted to. Like Nancy made an effort to connect with her spirit guide. I just haven't thought to do that lately. I've done
Mm-hmm.
that with like some extraterrestrial, and things like that. It's more of an energy thing. I connected with crystals, things like that, but I never thought to go more deeper into it unless it's meant to be. Because sometimes I feel like when we do spiritual work, there's curiosity, and then there's curiosity that meant for me. Like I used to
Mm-hmm.
be curious about everything, and I don't need to be curious about everything. Sometimes you're not supposed to do that. So I'm just curious enough, just what makes sense for me and the people around me. That makes sense to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I my being open to communication with my spirit guides is for my own edification, and what I can learn from them, and if they have any messages for me, or any guidance for me. And that's you know what I'm looking for when I connect with them. And I have found that they're very helpful. And as I do readings sometimes, and people allow their spirit guides to communicate with my spirit guides, uh, I can get the messages from their spirit guides for them. Um, but you have to be so careful about protection. And I had, not too long ago, I connected with someone, and he had desperately wanted to speak with his daughter.
Mm.
And he just loved her so much, and he had been so close to her, but she could not sense him. And the next morning when I woke up, he was still with me.
Mm.
And I mean, his presence was very, very heavy, because he just so desperately wanted to be able to connect with her. you know and so I learned that you have to cut those cords when you know and of course, like we did before we came on, the protection is very, very important. you know and I think that your heart has to be in the right place. And later I saw her in a chat when I was doing some more readings, and I told her about it, and she said, "Oh, that sounds like him." He was a very, very strong person. And I said, "Well, he is, you open up to him, because he is there for you. He just so desperately wants to guide you."
Right.
So I learned from that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's serious business.
it is. People
Yeah.
they think that you're having fun. And I actually was on Heather's channel. Heather, uh, what is her latest channel name?
Indigo, Jaguar. I'm not.
Spiritual Alchemy.
Yes.
Spiritual Alchemy. Okay.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And we did she was very kind. She does like investigative work.
Mm-hmm.
And I emailed her and I mentioned this woman. And she goes, oh, for some reason, this woman came to my mind. I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, she goes, well, why don't you come on? And I was like, oh. So, we did it. It was fun and everything. It was also Jackie. Jackie's usually the one
Oh
that
yeah. Uh,
does the investigative
Crystal.
work.
Yeah, Crystal Moon. Jackie's Crystal Moon. Yeah.
And what I didn't realize is that I had people in the family emailing me asking for more information and all that. So that curiosity we talked about, it's like it's cool, but you can't
Oh,
open up to something else.
oh yes. Yeah. You have to be careful. You have to
Yeah.
be.
So what I told her, I said, there's somebody named Mel Dore, and he does that professionally.
Mm-hmm.
So I prefer you do that. Go to him professionally because people want to just do reading, but then you kind of leave people hanging. So
Yeah.
I said, go to him and ask him for more detail because he does it professionally. He did that. He worked with the police and all that, and I'd rather you
Mm-hmm.
do that.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it's all good. It's all good. But the
Mm-hmm.
funny thing is, the other day I was sleeping and I felt something touching my toes. I know it's one of my guys, but I don't know who it was. You ever have like a knock on the door and you open the door and nobody's there?
No, no, I haven't had that happen.
So I have those kind of things happen.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Dina? Well, Dina said that I'm reading in the comment, and
Mm-hmm.
Dina was like, she had a spirit that came to her, and it looked kind of like John Denver.
Oh.
And he seemed to match up with other spirit I'll try and get a read from. But now I also wonder if John Denver is the spirit guide I asked. I don't know. What
Yeah.
do you think, Nancy? You think John Denver? I feel it's just somebody that looked like that,
Yeah.
not John Denver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think our spirit guides can probably look uh, like whoever they want to. I don't know.
And
You know.
then, well, Dina, that because Dina, who's in the comments, said she tracks certain kind of spirit, and they're not always in a healthy state.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you want to create boundaries. You want to
Yes.
create
Yeah.
boundaries. 'Cause a lot of times, you do those things where you just use a tool, like the oracle card is a tool,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just say, "Spirit, come through." So you don't have any specific person you're acting. You're just acting anybody. So that's why you might be attracting those kind of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you could be a little more. Um, you might want to be a little more specific when you use those. What do you call it? The spirit box. You might want to be more specific, but
Oh
rather than
yeah.
saying
Yeah.
spirit,
I know. I've
come
never
through. Talk.
used. I've never used anything like that.
Yeah, you could be like I mean, there's some people do a lot of spiritual protection. They go to a cemetery and they go to a specific zone,
Mm-hmm.
like a specific person, but they won't just say anybody come on. So you are empathetic, but if you're attracting that, you could change that, Dina. You might want to be more specific
Mm-hmm.
and send them to the light. So yeah, spirit guide and angel, it's fun when I do it for myself, but when you start working with other people, it's a whole different story. Hi, Ginger. Ginger's saying hello.
Hey, Ginger. She just did a live with Heather.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
on what topic?
They were doing full moon readings.
I gotta see that later. So Ginger. Oh, I have a funny story with Ginger. You know how people do reading, like yourself? And so sometimes I'm a little like, yeah, how much information can you get like in a minute? Because you're doing like you have 20 people and they said, please read me what the message from my guide. So Ginger, she whatever message she said, one point I'll show you because what she looked like. This is her channel if you want to subscribe. So she goes at one point, she goes, "Oh, something about dragonflies," you know. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I live in Queens, New York. You're not gonna really see a lot of dragonflies. If maybe once in a blue moon, by the water or something like that. I would see it more like out in the countryside of New York. So that night, not thinking anything of it, just thinking, it's another reading that I get online. I go outside to the backyard to get something. Can I tell you, I saw like 4 or 5 dragonflies, and I have not seen that many since. So,
Yeah, Ginger's spot on a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's by now 2 years.
Oh,
So, um, no. So, you know, these readings, I used to be like, yeah, whatever. There's something to it. So
yeah.
listen to everybody. When they
Yes.
give you when they give their time and they do lovely reading for yourself, go for it.
Well, sometimes you'll get a reading and it doesn't really resonate, and then in a couple of days, you know, things that they've mentioned, it's like, oh yeah, there it is, and it's nice if you can go back and like you told Ginger, uh, because it's nice to have confirmation when you say something like that. But
Yeah. You know what I've done? Um, I have a playlist reading from others, and whenever I get a reading, I haven't done it. I haven't gotten reading from others lately.
mhm.
I make sure to comment and I put the time there, because then now I have like 20 or 30 readings
Mhm.
and I don't remember them. That's up to 2 years. So because I commented, thank you very much for the reading at 53 point, 000. When I look back, like you said, I'm like, oh, so it's
Yeah.
pretty fun. So Ginger, who's your spirit guide? You have any particular? Is it the Fae? Is the Muse? Because you have Ginger, Fae, Tarot, and Divine Musing. My latest, I was saying, is something called the Great Compassionate Light, which has many divine beings in it. So include my spirit guides and other guides that are benevolent in nature that may show up for one role or something like that. So
Mhm.
it's not like any Pacific. The only one that's really Pacific is a few that I have in my mind. One of them is Archangel Michael.
Mhm.
And Nancy mentioned earlier today what the two, right? One is your cousin, and there
Mhm.
was another one.
Mhm. Yeah. And there, there's some others, but um I don't know. I'm open to messages, you
You
know.
know, I was thinking about a lot of some of the videos you do. Sometimes you'll be like showing a stone, you have like a dragon stone or something like that.
Mhm.
That to me is part of that compassionate light that had so many divine being in it. It may
Mhm.
not be that they're the guide, but you get to experience a nice benevolent energy.
Mhm.
So like, sometimes you do oracle cards and you mention something similar. And that's like, to me, an oracle card in itself could be an energy in itself. Don't you agree? Like they could be like sometimes I feel like it's not the spirit guide just talking to me through the cards. Sometimes I feel like it's the card that an energy in itself, the deck.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's energy in the deck when you open it up to your spirit guides and your angels to
Yeah,
communicate. Um I mean, it's just a piece of paper, you know.
exactly. Yeah,
But when you have a ritual and you cleanse your decks, you cleanse your space, you cleanse yourself, and you open yourself up to spirit, that's when the magic happens.
Right, it becomes like it had the personality, even though
Mm-hmm.
this is not alive. The deck
Mm-hmm.
itself had the personality, and then my spirit guide worked through that. So it's pretty interesting. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you both know how many spirit guides you have? I don't. I know I have a lot.
I don't. I have a lot, and
Yeah.
I have. One of the things that I have found really helpful is to, when I'm meditating, if I do automatic writing,
Oh,
I can find out a lot. I have found out information about past lives that way, and I can see things that I don't see otherwise. It's like it's like a window on a part of my world that has been in another life. It's hard to it's hard to explain, but uh,
no, I get it because when I journal, I don't do it often enough.
mm-hmm,
Um, I'm sometimes because basically I'm channeling, so it's not really for me. I'm
mm-hmm,
like reading my stuff. I'm like, whoa! It becomes like a new. It's like something new that I'm learning about myself, and also this idea
yeah,
of whatever. So I kind of understand you with that.
yeah.
Flowing, saying hello,
Hi, flowing.
and Heather
Hey,
just came
Heather.
in. Heather, I'm curious, who's your spirit guide or angel? You have any in particular? I don't have any in particular, but I do work with one, Archangel Michael, and I tell him he's in charge with this great light that has many divine being in it. She had many. And most of us that have been doing this for a while, more or less you have many. But there are some people who just may just work with one particular divine. As long as benevolent, that's all that matters.
Yeah, yeah.
So okay, so if you anybody wants a message, just say I, and then we'll read a message for you from your spirit guide or angel. Let us know. Say I. Oh, so Heather's saying they come and go when we need them. Exactly. My great grandmother Ava Cassidy is one of them. That's cool. So it's Archangel Michael. I just love Archangel Michael. I actually had seen him come like in the form of a light, and one Christmas, all of a sudden I saw this light flashing. I had the camera taking picture of a Christmas tree, right? All of a sudden I heard and it went through the camera. So I have a picture where you see this light blue and white
Mm.
ball. And I'm so upset, but within my old phone, and my old phone you need like this particular plug. But it was so cool because sometimes you think you're making it up, but I heard it and literally and went through the camera, and you could see like the orb going across, and Archangel Michael color is like a blue and light and white. So anybody? Oh, and okay, Ginger, you want a message? Okay, let's do a message for Ginger from her spirit
Also,
guide.
Shaw Woman wanted one also.
Cha.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll do Ginger first, then Cha.
Okay.
Okay, I'll start while she look. Here I got for Ginger, you're 111 years old self. So what I'm getting is you're very wise. You're becoming more wise, and to listen to it. I mean, you pretty much trust it. Not that you don't have confidence, but the wisdom are coming more apparent. You've been doing um some awareness that help you to get even more wise. Because you're basically channeling, you know that. I mean, so they're telling me you're at that time where your wisdom are coming out more at this time, even more so than before. And then I got, you decided to wake up, or else why did you draw me? These are weird cards. Let me show you who designed this. This is from the Cosmic Journey Oracle, Yannick Silver. So, you decided to wake up, or else why did you draw me? Well, that means you're focusing on the wisdom of the universe. So, because of that, it became like a Pandora. So, because you're opening more into it, because some people have boundaries, some people don't think to create intention, but you are asking for more wisdom. So, because of that, it's awakened within you. And so, when people get readings from you, or even when you read for yourself, the guides will give you more wisdom because you ask for it. What about you, Nancy?
Well, the first card that I got for Ginger is the card of hope. It's authentic reclamation. It's time to call back all the lost parts of yourself, Ginger. And, you know, there's some parts of you that are scattered. And you need to work on this sacred plan that is afoot in your life. And in order to do that, you have to rely on the messages from your guides and your angels. They're working with you. There's a lot of power, and there's a lot that you are supposed to do. There is a what I love for you, Ginger, is there is a friendship and a union between you and your guides and your angels. You have a very, 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 very close team that are with you constantly. And I know that you rely on them. You rely on them in a huge part every day, every day. And the card that I pulled with the Ascended Masters for you is do not be afraid, stand up for your beliefs like Joan of Arc. And if you notice in all of these particular cards, they have the same form of light. And you're surrounded by this light. And your path is very powerful, Ginger. Yeah. Very powerful. That's what I have for Ginger.
Awesome. So now we're going to read for Dina.
Okay.
Dina is Child Woman.
Okay.
Let's see what's the message for Dina from her spirit guides. Especially she doesn't even know who they are.
Okay.
Or angel. Okay, Dina. You have the thing that you think you have to know, even though you don't think, I know you don't think you have to know, but you also have the thing that you have to know. So they're saying there are no wrong turns when you're connecting with your spirit guide. The only thing is, you do want to create intention who's coming through. Like we mentioned, you said that you were attracting a certain kind of energy. So you do want to, you like Archangel Michael. You can use what I do. Say, Archangel Michael, please, any spirit guide come through, you handle that. So you know that you will only get something most benevolent. And also, out of the mess comes elegant order. So even though you don't really know who or what your spirit guides are, um, it's a journey. It's a journey. And look what happened here. You got so many coming about. You have so many universal creators wanted. So that to me is that you have many, but if you want to, you don't always need to know who they are. Just know that they're most benevolent. They are within the light, and you can have one or two that you want that you could connect more specifically. But think of it like as there's so many divine beings around us and they're protecting us. We don't know. And they may not even be a spirit guide. They're just that's their role. So Dina said, just like know that there is enough. I was saying in the beginning of the video, everybody has spirit guides and angels. Even like maybe people we think that don't. So yeah, they are there. And if that's all you need to know, you got so many. Look how many you have in here. There's just so many. Universal creators. And I know you're open to, like, it doesn't just have to be spirit guides, it doesn't just have to be ancestors. It could be ETs, it could be coming in a crystal form, it could be formless, and things like that. So I think for you, for real, it's to come out of the mess of who you're attracting, create more boundaries. Okay, Dina, that's what I'm getting. Because when you create boundaries, there are no wrong turn. Otherwise, you are opening up to something you may not want to be opening up. So, what you got, Nancy?
Well, the archangel that came forward for Dina is Gabriel, divine emergence. It's time to be seen. Don't be afraid of your powers and gifts. Dana, you have many, many gifts. And I don't think you're aware of all of them. And what's important for you to do is that if you ask and you receive, if you communicate with your guides and your angels, and you are open to them and their guidance, you can expect miracles because they'll be all around you. But you're the one that has to make the steps. They're waiting, like I talked about my cousin. She waited years and years and years for me to open up and get to the place in my spiritual walk where I reached out to communicate with her.
That's exciting, Nancy. Just to think there are beautiful divine energy waiting for us to be ready for them.
Yes. And the ascended master that I got for you, Dina, is Gaia, the resilient spirit, earth connection, stay rooted in trust and faith. So if you Dina, if you are open to your guides and your angels, and you want to communicate with them through meditation, they're there for you and they will come forward. We all, everyone has them. It's just that some of them are shut out, because we don't open ourselves up to them. And that's what's important, if we're wanting to go spiritually deeper into our belief systems and our potential, our spiritual potential. That's what's important to me. And so because that's important to me, I want it to be open to anyone else who it would be important to as well.
Awesome. She's staying true, Nancy. So anybody else want a quick reading in regard from your spirit guide and angels?
Yeah, what Heather said, I think sometimes they give us a name because we want a name, But with my cousin, when I was doing the meditation, all of a sudden, I just was drenched in her essence. I can't explain it, but it was like, it was like she was there. I had connected with her again after all these years. I mean, I
That's
was 13.
exciting.
She was, I'm 77 now. Look at all those years, you know.
That's
So,
that's so
yeah,
exciting and have that
yeah,
connection.
yeah.
I remember, like, I don't really talk to my dad on the other
You're welcome.
side, but if I wanted to, I could have a more closer relationship with him. He
Mm-hmm.
kind of was in life. He was a handyman. He was handy,
Mm-hmm.
handy, not handy. He
Yeah.
was handy. So, but he didn't really have patience for me, you know. But on the other side, he's nice and he's more calm. He's more at peace and stuff. So once in a while, I go, Dad, and I always think, yeah, it's not gonna happen. Dad, I need help with this, blah 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 blah. Suddenly I'll get an idea and I'll hear the garage. I open the garage and there it is. So it's like there is that thing like they're waiting for you to give permission, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Um,
Yes.
so that's why Dina, it's important. Like when you sometimes do the spirit box and you just say, "Who's here?" You might want to be a little more clear on who you want to be there. You know what I mean? Things like that. Otherwise, anybody will just show up. And it may be sometime that the type that you want. So, so that's how it is with spirit guide and angel. I'm learning something new every day, and I don't know what I would do without them. And I do notice, and it just may seem like it's not related, but I've been doing this thing called Dance for Joy. Dance with Angela, and she does chair movement. So she does these movement, because I've been like kind of sitting a lot, not moving. And what I noticed while I'm doing this had to do with what we're talking about here. It's not so random. It's about connecting with our intuition, right? So you don't have to be in shape. But for me, what I didn't know is I noticed is that I'm so unflexible that I can't really connect to like the energy around because she'll say check the aura around you, feel your hand, feel your heart, you're holding your heart and all that, and all I'm thinking is, oh, my arm hurt, my neck hurt, okay, let me do this 1 2 1 2. So what I'm learning is that I'm physically working on myself, get healthy, because that way I can get in touch with my spirit guide more. I can hear my spirit guide, I could feel them and all that, but I want to connect with them at different level. So this is where each decade my relationship with spirit guide and angels changes. So that would be for you as well. What else Heather said? Let's see. Let's bring it up. Heather said, spirit boxes, anything can show up, and they can even trick you into thinking they are something that they are not. Just make sure you're thoroughly protected, just like anything, any other tools as well. So,
Yes. Protection's important.
yeah. So you know what? I when I start doing all these tarot stuff, I always thought it fun to do, and I didn't realize until later on. Curiosity, great, but you are opening up to something, and but for the most part, 90% of it has been wonderful, and the 10% you learn that you have to tweak and learn as you go along in regard like who you're talking to, why you want to have it, why you want to have spirit guide and angel. Is it for your ego? Is it to da 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 da? You know what I mean? Like in the beginning when I did it was more like, oh my God, there's things out there, at 19 years old, 20 years old. Then later on it's like, oh, look who I could read, I could read this. Then
Mm-hmm.
later on it's like, oh, I should tell them that if they read the card for themselves, that they need to do protection. And then it changes, like every decade changes. Now it's more like, I'm not going to even push it on you unless you ask me. Because I used to get my cousin and go, come on, let's do cards and get them into it. But I don't feel the need to do that anymore. I feel like if they're curious, they'll ask me because it's like sometimes I wonder, do they really, when they read the card, do they ask for protection and things like that? So, uh, yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So anybody else had anything to say before we close up? So this is a world of we have a world of a community in here, and it's all about spirit guides and angels. It's all about connecting with different divine beings. It's also using our intuition and things like that. So you explore. By the way, what I've noticed, um, as I this is about like my third year, like being with you guys, like,
Mm-hmm.
and at first I would like kind of I would open, but I would just like to kind of watch. And then I got into and learning to be into, some of the relationship. But then you learn that everybody has quirks. Sometimes you get along with, sometimes you don't. And not even take it personally. Sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad days. So even in the spiritual community, it's a learning curve in itself. Don't you find that as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So take care, everybody.
Well,
And
thank you. Thank you for having me. I enjoyed very much, Sylvia, getting to know you better.
you too.